Hello everybody and welcome to my Flosstube channel. My name is Angela. I just want to say first and foremost, Happy New Year to everybody. This is my first Flosstube video for 2022 and thank you to all of my new subscribers for subscribing to my channel. I cannot believe I have got over 900 subscribers now. It absolutely blows my mind that my journey of sharing my cross stitch is now being shared with so many of you. So thank you so much for subscribing. I really do appreciate it. And if you are new to my channel and this is your first video, then and you like what you see, then please do hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have more of you see my journey. So lots to share with you. I did my last update video with you on Christmas Eve. I did obviously my whip parade on New Year's Eve, but my update was Christmas Eve, so quite a bit to show you since then. So let's get straight into it really. So the first thing I worked on was my quick stitch Spirit of Winter Robin by Ciro Marchetti. I never know if I get the name right. That's what it will look like. And I'll show it to you first and then I'll tell you. Where am I? Yeah, that way. So I've gone back to my diagonal stitching on this piece. I finished the diagonal where I went a bit rogue. I was doing diagonal stitching and then I went a bit rogue. And you can see the bits where I've gone a bit rogue. But yeah, so I'm about to start my next diagonal on this piece. But honestly, how gorgeous is that robin starting to look already? And I love doing the diagonal stitching because of all the ninja stitches. Now this piece isn't too bad at the moment for ninja stitches. There are some quite big blocks, especially in the browns there are some quite big blocks of colour, so not too bad, but yeah, really enjoying being back to the diagonal stitching. And this is stitched on 20 count 2 over 1. So since I last saw you, I have stitched, how much have I stitched? 10 hours. That's 1,429 stitches. So I'm now at 13.27% finished on that one. So then my next one, I've got quite a bit to tell you about this one actually. My next one is my World Travel Bookshelf by Amy Stuart. And for those that have been with me for a little while will know how much I love Amy Stuart designs. And this one I hadn't stitched on for such a long time because I started the diagonal stitching, realised it was going to take a long time to stitch by doing the diagonal stitching. And just to kind of pause here for a minute about my project, I just want to talk about diagonal stitching because I had a few comments about the diagonal stitching. So the diagonal stitching that I do, it's like a diagonal parking stitching method. It's like the snake method. If you want to see a tutorial on how you do it, Ninja Stitches, I think that's her name. She does an amazing tutorial on it, which is how I learned how to do it really. And I think I do it even slightly different to how she does it. Because I do it diagonally, she does it like straight down. Basically how you do it is, how I do it is I've got a 20 row and each stitch I stitch at a time. And certainly in this piece, there are some rows where each stitch across that 20 row is a different colour. And that's one of the reasons why I do it, is because number one, I don't have to go back and find these ninja stitches. And number two, I just feel like for me, my stitching is neater. Is this method for everybody? Absolutely not. But for me, I cannot tell you how excited I am to be working on my projects again. I think towards the end of last year, I kind of lost my mojo a little bit. And I know I was super busy, but I still lost my mojo a little bit. But my mojo is definitely back and I'm stitching at every opportunity now, just because I've changed my method back. So this piece I started diagonal. Like I say, I realised it was going to take a long time to stitch in that method. Changed and went rogue with my stitching, went a bit cross country and just kind of wherever that colour went, I followed it. But didn't really like how some of the stitches were sitting and it just put me off for a long time. at the end of the year last year, I went back to diagonal stitching, and oh my goodness, my love for this project has returned. So this is where I'm at. It's a big project, got it on a big frame. This is where I'm at now. And as you can see, hold on, let me move my drink out of the way. As you can see, I've done quite a bit. By the way, I will be putting in all my before pictures. I must remember to do that. Be putting in all of my before pictures of where you last saw these pieces. But I think I've done most of that sort of diagonal. And I'm working down this bit now, and I'm going to kind of fill in these gaps as I go. As I work down each diagonal, I'll fill in the gaps. But yeah, so that's basically pretty much the first shelf. Obviously there's 4 shelves. That's pretty much the first shelf. So yeah, that's where I'm at. This is stitched on 20 count, 2 over 1. And apologies if I'm looking down, by the way. I just like to let you guys know how much I've stitched and everything, and I cannot remember those figures. But anyway, I stitched 11 hours, 857 stitches, which is 2.36%. I'm probably going to be still stitching this when I'm 90. But never mind, it's the, I just love watching this picture come to life. So let me just move that one out of the way. Now this one, I got my mum for Christmas, the puzzle version. It was a 2,000 piece puzzle, world travel bookshelf. Obviously the design, Amy Stuart. And my mum has absolutely loved doing that puzzle, and I saw it absolutely completed. It's huge, the puzzle. But she loved it because she loves doing the puzzles of the projects that I'm stitching. So for those of you that have been with me since the beginning will know I did my very first Heaven and Earth design was the Story Keep Life is an Open Book Paris. I did the Story Keep version. I found the full picture version as a puzzle, and she did that, and she's got that framed, so she can't wait to get this World Travel Bookshelf one framed. But what was really nice was seeing some of the details up close, some of the details that I kind of missed, even with zooming in on the picture. So that was really nice to see it all done, and yeah, she really, really loved it, so she can see why I'm really enjoying stitching it. So that was that one. So then we get on to New Year's Day, and I had a new start, shock horror. So this is now my 14th Heaven and Earth design currently going. This one is part of the series that I've created myself. As I said, I did Life is an Open Book Paris. I couldn't find the Story Keep version. I couldn't find the Story Keeps on the Heaven and Earth website, so I did a special request to get the New York and the London one into a Story Keep version, and I've already started the New York one, and this one on the 1st of January is the one that I started, was the London one, and again by Amy Stuart. And I started it in the diagonal method because I think that's definitely my preferred way of stitching these. I don't know if I'm going to do the diagonal method for all of my Heaven and Earth projects. I haven't quite decided yet. I think I'm going to see how I go. I have moved some of my projects over to that, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do that with all of them. But like I say, it's definitely a method I'm enjoying at the moment. So this is just my small start. I've done my first diagonal, and I'm on to my second diagonal now. This is stitched on 18 count, 2 over 1, and even though my preference is 20 count, the reason why I've done this one on 18 count is because I started my Paris one on 18 count, and I did my New York one on 18 count, so I wanted to do this one on 18 count because the idea is, I don't know if you can see the wall here, if I can point in the right way, the way above the fireplace. I actually want to get the 3 of them framed in exactly the same frame and just framed above the fireplace when they are all done. So yeah, that's my very, very small start on the London one. An awful lot of greens in that top corner. Well, you can see there's an awful lot of green in the top bit up here. So how much did I do? I did 4 hours worth. That was 4 hours. I did 270 stitches, and that's 0.51%. So I then had another new start on the 9th of January. And this one is one of my the new temperature piece that I'm doing for 2022. And this one is still by Stitchin' Mummy. You can find all of her charts on Etsy under Stitchin' Mummy. She's also got a Flosstube here as well, again under Stitchin' Mummy. And this one is temperature typography. And I've watched her stitch hers in 2021 and I just kept falling in love with it every time I saw it. And I just thought, I really want to stitch that in 2022. After 2022, I'm not sure if I'm going to stitch any more temperature pieces. I will make that decision when I get to the end of the year. But I can already see how much I'm going to love this one because look at the colours. And yes, my floss card that I'm using is an old cereal packet from an old cereal packet, but look at these colours. How awesome are they? Just incredible. I know it's a bit knotted, but anyway, lovely, lovely colours. This is, I was actually planning on stitching on the same material as my previous temperature piece, which was a pale blue 20 count aid, and I ordered it, and then after a little while they said, actually sorry, we haven't got any in stock, would you like to order another piece? So anyway, I ordered another piece. They gave me some discount because obviously I'd waited a little while. So my material only actually cost me £5, which I was quite pleased with, considering it was a little bit more than that. So this is my start. This is my January so far. And what's really interesting is this first day in January, I'll bring it in closer, green, was 16 degrees this year on January the 1st. And last year, yeah, 2021 on the 1st, it was 4 degrees. So yeah, crazy temperatures. So we've basically gone from being quite mild weather to being really quite cold now. So you'll see a lot of the as we go into more letters in January, you'll see it gets quite cold. But this is an ivory 20 count. And yeah, I just did half an hour on it last weekend. So my plan is to do half an hour every weekend so that I keep up with it. Because as you guys know, I'm a little bit behind on my temperature tree from 2021. Still haven't finished that one. But I am loving doing this one already. And I just cannot wait to get more of these fabulous colours. So yeah, floss cards. My what I do is I've got one big box of I don't even know if I've got a full cover range. I don't know. Don't think so. Not quite. Maybe I'm just short a few colours. I've got one big box full of bobbins with all of my floss on. One bobbin per colour, and any extras I've got stored elsewhere. And then I just take one thread each time I need it. I prefer to do it like this. Again, not everybody will do it this way, but it just works for me. So when I finish, say like if I finish this thread, I will then get another thread from my big box that I've got my thread in. So that's how I do that. And what I love also, just going back to the temperature charts that Sarah does, she has a hot range, a cold range, and a varied range. So if you live somewhere that's predominantly really hot, then you've got a range that you can use for that. And likewise, if you live somewhere very cold, I live sort of in the middle. Sometimes it can be cold, sometimes it won't be. In the summer, we do get like the odd day of heat, not much in the UK, I will admit. But so I've gone for the varied temperature range. So I hope that makes sense anyway. So then I decided, well, you know what, as I've been working on my new piece, my new temperature piece, I thought I'd better get moving on my old temperature piece, which I did the temperature tree. And what I really failed to do last year with this one was I failed to do the tree, the branches, because if I'd have done all the branches, it would have been much easier to have caught up with the leaves. But I've only in this, I've had 1-2 hour sitting on this since you last saw it. And I finally finished the December branch. So that's how long it's taken me. And I think because I was so behind, I got so behind, it almost put me off doing it, because I actually wanted to do it as the weeks went on, which is why I think I'm going to really enjoy my new temperature piece. But here it is. So this is all of January, all of February is now done, and I'm now working on March, and all I've got to do now is the leaves. So yeah, can't wait to see how the weather for 2021 is. Actually quite interesting seeing the weather, how different it is already from one year to the last. Because last year, like I say, it started off really cold, whereas we've started off a bit warmer and it's now got cold. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how that goes. So that's that one. And I, like I say, spent 2 hours on that one. That's on 20 count, 2/1, that pale blue Ada. And then the last piece that I got out was a random piece that I chose last night. I've got all my Heaven and Earth projects in the Tiny Decisions app, and I just pressed the wheel and saw what came up and thought, right, yeah, I'm going to stitch on that, and haven't stitched on this one for a while. And it is Mini Princess of the Sea by Donna Gelsinger. I'm sure you guys have seen this one a lot. I've seen so many people stitch this one. And again, if you've been with me for a little while, you will know that I started this, a while ago, a good while ago, maybe like 18 months ago, on 25 count fabric. I started it 1/1, didn't like it, ripped it out. Then I restarted it and did 10th stitch, and I did 5,000 stitches on it, and the picture was really starting to come out that I was working on the girl here, and she was really starting to come out. And I looked at it one day and I thought, can I do another, I think it was like 70 odd thousand stitches in 10th stitch and enjoy it? And the answer was simply no. So in that moment, I just took it out the Q-snap, folded it up and put it in its project bag. Ordered some material that day, which was my preferred 20 count 2/1. As you will see, most of my projects are gridded, but the more recent ones that I started have been non-gridded. But this was a gridded one, and I'd previously done about 5,000 10th stitches. And anyway, this is where I'm at now on the new one I started. I did start this, I think, last year, restart it last year. So just the top corner, but it is just looking gorgeous. I do love the colours in this one. It's, yeah, really, really pretty. And I've started to go down the diagonal, so I'll just finish that one to get to that diagonal and then do the next diagonal and so on. And what I think I've decided is, I think I'm just going to do the diagonals. I think that there's like a page row finish here. Page finish is about here, something like that. So I'm just going to do the diagonals up to that page, and then move the Q-snap down, do the next page, pages down, and so on. So that's how I think I'm going to do it. But yeah, it's just, honestly, the colours are just amazing. And I haven't, like I said, I hadn't stitched on it for a while, but yeah, really, really, really like it. And like I say, restarted it, and I just think if you're not happy with the project, yeah, restart. Especially if you haven't done that much. I just knew I just couldn't see a finish on that project. 25 count fabric is not for me whatsoever. 20 count fabric, all over it. So I know that's my sweet spot, and sometimes you have to there's trial and error in these things, isn't it? So I did 3 hours on this yesterday, and that was 393 stitches, which is now at 2.11%. So yeah, I look forward to getting that one out again. So that's all of the projects that I worked on. Now I want to just talk to you about my plans. Just going to get something out of a plastic wallet so you don't get any glare. So what I've decided to do is I've decided to keep my challenges that I do quite minimalistic for 2022. I felt like I completely overwhelmed myself in 2021, and as a result, just really didn't end up doing anything. So I'm not doing Whip Go. I am going to participate in the Full Coverage Fanatics certain challenges. I am doing 22,000 in 2022. And the piece that I've decided to do for that is going to be my robin piece, because if I do 22,000 stitches, it won't be long before that's finished. So it might even spur me on to get that finished this year. And every now and then, I know the Full Coverage Fanatics group have random weekend challenges. So for example, this weekend it's Stitch on a Project with Night Sky in. So I'm going to be getting out my World Travel Bookshelf and participating in that. And the other one that I'm going to do is I'm going to do the bicycle tour, the Germany bicycle tour. There's a PDF that you can download. And you can either do it in hours or stitches. And I've decided to do this in hours. And I'm going to use my World Travel Bookshelf for this piece. Because to do the stitches, yeah, I just think it'll be easier for me to do the hours, basically. Yeah. So that's basically all I'm going to do in 2022. I just thought I'd strip it right back and do that. Now, obviously, everything's subject to change. Things might change as we go through. Who knows? But I'm really enjoying what I'm doing at the moment. And like I say, I'm just so super grateful for all of your lovely support and your comments. And I love watching all of your floss tubes and seeing your stitching progress on Instagram as well. So yeah, until next time, guys, please stay safe and well and happy stitching. Bye.